Hey guys, it's Delilah, and today's video is going to be a Sephora haul, and not just any Sephora, but Sephora Paris haul. We went to Paris this summer to visit my husband's family, so of course I went to the biggest Sephora. I think it's the one in Champs-Élysées, and I picked up quite a few stuff there. Most of those products, I would say maybe around 80% of them I have been using for at least a month. I think the whole month of August and September, so 2 months now. So I'm able to tell you guys my thoughts and just share with you some mini reviews on those products. And before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Delilah's Delights. Also follow me on my Instagram at Delilah Delights. And without further ado, let's get started. I just spilled some water all over my dress when drinking, so please ignore that. Okay, first I want to start with what's on my eyelids today. This is from Zoeva, and this is their Cocoa Blend eyeshadow palette. Inside it looks like this. There are 10 shades and there are some mattes, some shimmers, and I really like the color combination because as you can see, I think it's quite neutral. It's not too warm but not too cool either. You have your basic cream shade and a transition and a matte black, so you can definitely create a complete eye look using only this one palette. And the eyeshadow quality is also amazing. This is actually my very first Zoeva product. It's very creamy, pigmented, but doesn't cause too much fallout. The matte shades are very easy to blend, which is always a big plus for me. And the shimmery shades, they are maybe not as metallic or as like packed as, let's say, like Lorac or Anastasia shadows, but they're still very pigmented enough. So if you are someone who already have many eyeshadow palettes, this may not satisfy you, just because I'm sure you can find a dupe of every shade right here in your collection. But overall, I'm very happy I purchased it, and I will definitely look into more other products from Zoeva. Next is another Zoeva eyeshadow palette. This one is the Nude Spectrum, and those are the shades. As you can see, it's really like the name suggests, it's a spectrum of nude shades. So first, the color combination. I do really like it because, like I said about Cocoa Blend, I think it's a very good mixture of warm and cool. And again, you have your cream shade right here and also a matte black right here, and with all kinds of different tones of transition and different shades of shimmers and a little bit pop of color here and there. So overall, it's definitely a very basic beginner-friendly type of shade range. The actual eyeshadow quality is also very good. It's very creamy, pigmented, and overall all those shades are very easy to blend, very easy to work with, and they also don't cause too much fallout. But this palette just doesn't really suit me as well as the Cocoa Blend, just because all those 6 shades right down here, as you can see, maybe because I have medium tan skin tone, so all those shades, they kind of just blend to nothing on my eyelids, or when I blend them out, they just look very similar. So I think if you have a very fair skin tone and if you are looking for a very neutral nude eyeshadow palette, this is definitely a great option. But if you have medium skin tone like me, or even darker skin tones, many of those shades may not show up as well on our eyelids. Next, I also pick up something from Becca. This is their First Light Priming Filter. It's basically a face primer, and as you can see, it has a light purple lavender tint, and it's supposed to kind of cancel and brighten your complexion. And I find that working particularly well with my skin tone, maybe because I'm Asian, I have a very yellow undertone, and sometimes in the morning when I woke up, I do feel my complexion looking a little bit dull, a little bit like a yellowish, and just looking very tired. So putting one pump of this all over my face does really kind of just brighten up my whole complexion, make me look a lot more awake, and it also gives my skin a very natural glow. Long time ago, I did a video talking about all my kind of luminous highlighting type of face primers, and in that video I mentioned that I just really don't like this type of face primer because sometimes they often have visible shimmers, and I just don't like that all over my face. And other times I just often feel the texture of those face primer, they don't go well with the rest of my face products, and they will just kind of change the texture and consistency of my skin. While this one is just very thin, very watery. When I put it over my face, I can see that it visibly changed the look of my skin without changing the texture, and that's what I really like about it. If you're also in a market of a new high-end face primer, I highly recommend it. Another product I pick up from Becca is the Shimmery Skin Perfector in the shade Moonstone. It's kind of like a creamy white gold opal from Becca. I really like the shade, but I just feel it's a little bit too metallic for my liking. But this one in Moonstone, although it's lighter and brighter than opal, but I think the formula is a little bit different because when I put opal, I just think it always gives a very metallic finish, which I don't necessarily like, especially in everyday life. But this one, I also need to be quite careful to make sure I don't apply it too much, but I just think it's a lot likely to create a slightly more natural type of glow, and it doesn't emphasize the texture of my skin as much as opal. If you are actually looking for a slightly less metallic, slightly more natural highlighter from Becca, I actually think Moonstone is a bit better fit. Moving on, I also got a lip treatment from Fresh, and this one is their tinted lip treatment. It has sunscreen SPF 15, and the shade I got is in Honey. I got really excited talking about this because I got this purely because one of my subscribers, who also become my friend, she highly recommends the lip treatment from Fresh, so that's the only reason I got it. The product itself is super soft, very creamy, so if you live in a very hot climate, I will highly suggest you to, don't leave it in your car or in your purse, it might melt. And also when you apply, don't twist out too much because it might break very easily. It also has a very light citrusy scent and nothing too offensive, but if you are sensitive to fragrance, you may want to keep that in mind. And onto the formula itself, it's really very creamy, very buttery. I think it's probably the most moisturizing, most buttery lip balm I ever had. When it touches my lips, I really feel it's going to melt, so it's just a very pleasant application experience. But one thing I want to mention is that it's actually quite pigmented. I don't know why when I first got the product, or when I first heard of the product, I thought it's going to be like a slightly sheer tinted lip balm, but when I actually swatch it on my hand, as you can see, I will insert the swatches, it's actually really quite pigmented, almost a little bit opaque. In my opinion, I think it's almost like a creamy lipstick. So that's just something I want to point out in case you have different expectation. If you are looking for like a sheer glossy lip balm, this I personally think it's not it. It's more like a really extremely buttery, creamy lipstick, but with the benefit of a very creamy lip balm. I also want to quickly mention I got a Beautyblender, and I think the name is called Red Carpet, which sounds so fancy, but it's just a red beauty blender. So far I use it maybe 2 or 3 times and I don't really notice anything different between this one and the original one. It's very bouncy, very, it's nice. Moving on, I also pick up a Marc Jacob eyeliner. I think this is their Highliner matte gel liner, and this one is in matte black. I think it's a very good product, a very good gel liner, but personally I will not repurchase it again. I have mentioned in my videos before, I never have problems with liners on my upper eyelids, but my waterline always smudges at the end of the day. So after hearing so many people raving about the Marc Jacob Highliner, I decided to pick it up at the Sephora, and I will say I do think it smudges less compared to my other gel liners. It's very creamy, very matte, doesn't tug on my eyelids, and it smudges a lot less, but eventually throughout the day it will still smudge. So let's say on a scale from 1 to 10, this, let's say maybe is 7. The other gel liners I tried is maybe a 5 or 6. So overall, I just don't think I'm willing to spend the money to pay for the difference between 7 and 5. Next, I actually also pick up another gel liner from Sephora collection, Contour Eye Pencil 12 Hour Wear. This is, exactly the same type of product as the Marc Jacobs one, a gel matte black eyeliner. But as you can see, it's completely new. I haven't even opened the plastic packaging because I want to use up the Marc Jacobs one first and then go on to try this. So I will definitely keep you guys updated in the future to see whether this is the one for my waterline. hairline. Also from Sephora collection, this is their lip balm in the coconut flavor, and I just think the packaging is very cute. I admit this is probably a impulse buy. I also haven't opened it at all because I'm currently using the fresh lip treatment. So I think they also have a few other flavors all in food like watermelon, banana, and delicious stuff like that. So again, I will try it out in the future and let you guys know my thoughts on it. More from the Sephora house brands, those are their cleansing wipes. I think it's just their makeup removing wipe. I have one in the watermelon flavor. It says hydrating, and there are 10 wipes inside for face and eyes. And the other one is the charcoal exfoliating wipes. It says detoxifying, and it's also 10 wipes for face. So those are completely brand new. I haven't even opened them, so I cannot really tell you guys what I think just yet. But again, I will try them out in the future and let you guys know. I just think they look very cute, and I haven't really tried much from the Sephora house brand, so yeah, we'll let you guys know. Next, we have a bunch of products from Too Faced. I picked most of them up at the, the last aisle that is close to the cashier that have a bunch of travel size, mini size products. I just kind of got drawn there and put a bunch in my basket. First is the Hangover RX setting spray from Too Faced. Actually, it's the primer and setting spray. If you guys been watching some of my videos, you know their original Hangover RX. The regular face primer is one of my favorites. It's very, very nourishing, very moisturizing. It has a very strong scent of coconut, so if you don't like fragrance, you may want to keep that in mind. And this is just essentially the setting spray version of that primer. Every morning when I spray over my face before makeup, it will just leave a very kind of moisturizing film almost on my skin, and I just think the makeup kind of goes on top of it very well. I may not really go around and recommend this to everyone, but I think overall it's a very nice face mist and I like it to prime my face. Although I think the nozzle is not very well done, it kind of spreads out. It's not a very fine mist, so that's why maybe I don't really use it to set my makeup, but I like it to prime my face because at that time there's no makeup on my face, so it's okay if the spray is a little bit too concentrated. But yeah, overall I think I don't regret buying it, but I probably will not buy it again either. Another setting spray from Too Faced that I might consider to buy again if I have the chance is this one. I think it's the Peach Mist Mattifying Setting Spray infused with peach and sweet fig cream. I don't own the Sweet Peach eyeshadow palette, so I don't know if the scent is the same, but personally I really like it. It smells very peachy, very sweet. You really have to shake it very well before spraying on your face, otherwise it will leave some little white powdery dusty type of residue, almost like dry shampoo on your skin, which you will not like. I have normal to dry skin, and I think the mattifying level of this setting spray is just right for me. It's mattifying enough that my face don't become too shiny throughout the day, and it does prolong my makeup a little bit, but it's also not too mattifying that my skin becomes dry. I also think that the mist of this one is slightly better than the Hangover setting spray. Yeah, I think if you have normal or dry skin and if you are looking for a mattifying spray, this might be a pretty good choice, but if you have oily skin, I don't know if it's powerful enough for you. Next, also from Too Faced, this is their eyeshadow primer. It's called Shadow Insurance 24 Hours Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. Honestly, I don't remember why I picked it up. I don't have oily eyelids. I could definitely get away with just putting concealer on my eyelids. So yeah, usually I just use whatever drugstore eyeshadow primers that I can get my hands on. It is a very good eyeshadow primer. It has this skin tint that can kind of even out the little discoloration on the eyelids. The consistency is also very creamy. It doesn't feel dry on the eyelids. So overall, I think it's good. I'm just not really the right person to tell you if this is worth the price, just because it's a product I can live without. Another product from Too Faced I pick up randomly, also a travel size. This is their Born This Way concealer. I think this is their older version. It's just way too light for me. So the formula seems okay, but just because the shade is so round that I cannot really test out the formula. So sorry, I also cannot tell you how I think about it just yet. The last thing I pick up from Too Faced is their Better Than Sex mascara. This is also the mini size. This is a mascara I'm wearing on my eyelash today. Pretty sure you cannot see it. I personally don't think this is Better Than Sex. To be fair, I don't have very good lashes. My lashes are fairly long, but they are a little bit spare. My English. I don't have lots of volume in my lashes, and also they don't really hold a curl that well. It does give pretty good volume, but it doesn't lengthen my lashes, make my lashes look very clumpy, and overall I just don't really like the effect. So if you are gifted with naturally beautiful long lashes, this might do the trick for you. But if you have lashes like me, a little bit weak, a little bit fine, like the typical Asian lashes, then I don't think this mascara will work much for you. Next, we're almost there, 2 more to go. This is a Makeup Forever Ultra HD setting powder, and the one I got is in translucent. It's also the mini size. This one, it definitely makes my face look slightly more mattifying, but it also gives like an airbrush finish and make my pores look a lot less visible. I especially like to put it on my under eye area because I think the mattifying airbrush finish it gives, sometimes it makes my under eye look a lot less creased, especially throughout the day. So overall, I really like it. I think I still prefer slightly my NARS translucent powder, just because I think that powder is just perfect for people who have dry skin. But this one, I think it will probably works well for all kind of skin types, especially when I take pictures or film video, when I want my skin to look almost like a bit filtered, then this is the powder I will go for. Last product I pick up at Sephora is this one from Farsáli. This is their Unicorn Essence. I haven't really tried this on my face actually, but in store I did put it on the back of my hands, and then when I spread it out, I think it seems quite moisturized, quite nice, quite supple, so I thought I can give it a go. It's not too expensive. And yeah, that's it guys. That's all the products I have picked up in Sephora Paris. I hope you guys enjoy this haul. I know there are some products I will have to try out more and give you guys an update in the future, but still, if there's any product you would like to see a more in-depth review or see in action in a makeup tutorial, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. So yeah, that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more Delilah's Delights. Also follow me on my Instagram at Delilah Delights. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye bye.